Right guys, so welcome to another video. My name is Daniel and today we are going to set up the Vern 2 and the polycotton, and I figured out that you could probably do with the same with the old version 1 Vern 1, but I want to show you right now because yeah, and I'm going to seam seal both of these two tents, and I wanted to show you from now, because the thing is that these tents are pretty much very different from each other. I don't have the Vern 1, the new version, but I do have the Vern 1 polycotton and the old Vern 1 here that I helped design, and I do have the new Vern 2. So the main difference is that this is a one-person tent. You can also use it without the one-person inner tent to put maybe a dog on it. So it's pretty similar to the Vern 1 polycotton, but it has some difference. This is a 1.5, so perfect for a dog or a kid. And that you have the Vern 2 that I haven't set up yet. So the weight are 1.7 at its maximum, 3.5 of it as for the maximum, and 4.4 kilos at its maximum. I'm saying that because you can probably cut out some pegs or the crossing pole, especially for this one, if you wanted to save some weight. This was designed as a long distance tent that could withstand Norwegian weather. The packaging is a bit different from the polycotton, as you can see. Also has polycotton material here, while these two is pretty similar. You have some reflex here. This has more of a handle you can use there, and this has the new like leather pass of it. So we're gonna set up these two because I need to seam seal them. Right, so here we have them. The Vern version 1, the Vern polycotton that looks exactly the same as the Vern version 2, and we have the Vern 2 version 2. And I'm gonna take off this inner tent first, because basically I'm going to seam seal the tent, but I just want to see, and these are two long and wide pads. The one thermal vest that my wife used and my fuel vestibule is enough to have you all here. So it's pretty big though. It is this one is the one with the pipe place to put the oven, so you can actually put the oven here, and that's going to be a super warm. It requires a bit more of need more to set up the tent compared to the two others, but it's also a two-person tent, so normally you pack this yourself with another person. You have 2 drying lines there. You have 4 pockets, one of each side and here as well. And you have also one place to put the lamp. And I think this is 10D. And then you have also the additional floor footprint that you can also put on. And you can fit quite a lot of gear here. Actually, you almost fit me. The reason I don't put the footprint on tents is mostly because in this kind of tents you want to often take a shovel in the winter time and dig down what we call in Norwegian a kulegrop, and that serves as an emergency place to take cover if you have problems with your tent. If you get a problem with the tent, you can actually burrow yourself down in the snow, and you then have the time to do that. Also, you can also have the toilet there, or you can also have the cooking system that in this case in winter time is a very good option, and that's mostly the reason they build tents aerodynamic as a tunnel. So this is almost like a tunnel tent basically, and you can open that there and there, and the same on the other side for the next person. So let's see, the Vern version polycotton here is 1.5 person. The footprint actually looks smaller than the version 1 and of course the 2. Going to also do some seam sealing on this tent. I haven't used this tent in wet weather. Seam sealing is kind of good go because you can test your tent at home and also do a bit more of a seam sealing and test your tent just to see if everything is like it should be when you are heading home. Now this tent here, it gives you a drying feeler when you are inside, and it's very good on warm weather, also very good on the winter weather. You can actually open this up as well. And make a very panoramic view of your tent. So this is actually a single wall tent. It's not a two wall tent, or it doesn't have an inner tent actually, even though it looks like it has it. And the floor is 5000 D, so 5,000 millimeters. Now the Vern version 1 is the most lightweight version of the tent, and you can strip it down 1 to 1.2 kilos. And the thing is, this is an aerodynamic tent, and it would probably take the wind better than if you pitch a C-Pax or Dyneema tent. The vestibule in this tent is pretty huge as well, and you can open this the same way as the Vern polycotton. Like this. So you can clearly see that this one is longer, while that has a bit more headroom like the Vern one has. But to be honest, when I creep up here, I have more than enough space to. It's almost 1.5 as well, so it's not as small as you actually think. and it feels pretty good. I really like this tent, and it's lightweight. That's an aerodynamic. That's the most important thing. So one of the is a bit more headroom here, that's for sure. It's almost the same as the other one, and the cool thing about the polycotton version or the seal nylon version 2 of the Vern 1 is that it is a freestanding tent, and that's the thing is not possible with the Vern version 1 that we just tried. So for now I'm gonna just seam seal this tent. Normally it follows with its own seam sealing. When you buy, you can actually seal on the Vern 2, but this is the silicone tube. You have also this one that is pretty much the same, and you have something very important when you are dealing with storm. As you can see, I moved the long wide pad here. You have quite a lot of space there, and even in the front. I know that for sure because I've been using this tent a lot. On the polycotton version it has a little bit less space there, but it's pretty much the same, I would say. The headroom is more though. So I'm gonna take off this inner tent, and I'm gonna give you a tip though, because if you order the footprint, get down the seagulls there. If you order the footprint and you take off the inner tent, even though it's highly recommended to use a inner tent, you can actually fit more people inside here, and you can actually use this as a maybe three persons, maybe a little family of 4 could fit in here if you're actually sitting on the footprint. So we're gonna take this off because we don't need it. Normally I try to wash this because this is the part when it gets super dirty, and I try to wash this on the washing machine sometimes. Now we have the footprint here. Normally it should be sunny, shiny side up, but you have a color coating on this that is red. So we're gonna try to find the buckle that should be red somewhere. So in the end there it is. Right, so it should be with the ripstop nylon, I guess. Yeah, with the sun is shied off actually. Seems so. If you don't want to wash the inner tent all the time, you can wash this, I guess, but practically the same thing. Footprint. But now you can actually fit quite a lot of people here. Let's see. 1 there, 2, 3, 4. Even 4 people. Yeah, nice. Nice. Alright, so let's see what it says here. Pardon me. Have some repair for the mesh, the footprint, the inner tent. It's not much, but you can probably try to ask Nortent, if you have an accident, we have an extra guideline, extra bungee cord, an extra little buckle, and the brush for the silicone tube, and we have a little sheet here from the Vern tool that says the fly sheet is 100% waterproof, but every quality tent with this type of fabric, the seams will increase their waterproofness strength if to be lubricated with a mix of silicone. You might choose not to do this, as the seams are already very waterproof, or you receive your tent for now, but hey, why not? So yeah, the condensation is gonna be a bit more though when you have it like this, without the inner tent. So three solution is heating, or using inner tent and ventilation. Vern twist is sent to be a light tail. Well, 4 kilos, it's not bad though, I guess. The pack size of it is very good. And it says, yeah, the tent poles is going to be very, apparently very durable. The gaps though is important to not miss. You can see that on the Vern 1, because this tent here requires a bit more of a better pitch, I guess. I did this actually on purpose to show this gap here, and this gap might cause trouble, so you need to be like properly pitched, but this is a semi freestanding tent, so it requires a bit more attention to detail when you are pitching, compared to especially the Vern 1 polycotton that is a bit more simpler to put, and you can move that around as well. All right, before I start to talk about the seam, or do the seam sealing, I do want to mention one thing, guys. So there's been a lot of people trying to test this tent, especially out in heavy winds, and like, be my guest doing that. But in Norway we have some what we call the mountain rules, or fjellvettreglene, that the Red Cross and DNT, the Norwegian hiking organization, made in the 50s, because there were a lot of people heading out in the wild without jinxing it, no? And every year there's some kind of a tourist or a Norwegian people even that get lost out in the mountains. So when you are making these kind of videos, testing things out in extreme weather, you need to be super cautious though. You need to be taken aware the risk may be worth it to do these kind of things, because I've been having a lot of trouble myself out in the, when I was a teenager, heading out in the wild, in my expeditions as well. I almost got hypothermia 2 or 3 times in my life. And gear is not perfect. It's there to provide you shelter. So when you test it in very extreme weather, you have to be super careful what you are doing though. So it's important to know, test these things at home, maybe seam seal it, and even do some planning and backup plans just in case you get caught by weather. Now this Vern one has a splint. What you call a splint is, if this pole breaks, you can put it there to fix it. You should also keep duct tape with you. Now the Vern 2 is constructed with a very thin pole, and the reason is when if we take the crossing pole, I'm gonna demonstrate to you how to actually fix this. So if you can add some extra pole protections to a tent. If you, for example, order extra pole, depending on the weather, and in this tent it should be enough space to then, but you have to order a pole that is basically the same diameter, and you can even fit in there, and you can do that on all of this line here. Now I will attach some duct tape here, but I'm not going to do that now. You can actually do that, and that will increase even more the strength of this tent. All right, so these are the items that normally you should take out if you are heading out in the mountains, because they are meant for that. Now this is the Järven fjellduk, which I was talking about if you dig a kulegrop with this and a wall around the tent for the wind, it will give you more shelter, and eventually you can evacuate to the kulegrop underneath the tent vestibule, and use the fjellduken to survive. And you need to have some kind of a communication device. In this case is the Garmin inReach Messenger, that is a brand new, by the way. You have to have duct tape with you. I normally carry that. Repair kit, bardoon for the tent, a splint as we call it, and probably an extra pole that I'm seeing you here. Well, I simply tape it for you. You should probably wrap it a bit better, but just so you get a picture of how it should look. All right, there you go. All right, guys. So I'm sim sealing now, and I just wanted to point to the stuff. When you're looking at this, it's pretty simple to actually do this, but it cannot pain in the ass though, so you need to have some kind of a blanket. It doesn't require too much time, other than you need to dry the tent out. So the thing is, when you are sim sealing, you get to see the spots that a tent have, and you notice that when sun shines through, it's easy to see where the water would drop. And from a producer's perspective though, I can see why they're not doing this to every tent that they ship out, because it's gonna take a while to do though. It's gonna take a while. And I wanted to point out that tents are not perfect, but I guess Nortent, in my opinion, is one of the best, definitely, that I try for the price, and it's very, very well sewn. Like here you have up to 3 pointers that I see that are basically sewn, I guess, like 3 stitches there, and it's very, very well made, and you can try to sew yourself and see, because it's not super easy, and it's definitely a very good tent, well made. You can see the Dyneema spots there. It's not noticeable on the outside of this tent in particular, compared to the others, but they actually put some Dyneema spots down there. I'm not entirely sure if it helps though, but I just need to trust Nortent on this, because this is one thing that some new producers have started to actually use, and it's not a thing that you gonna see in plenty out of tents, the use of Dyneema. You have the Dyneema tents, right? But seal nylon breathe much better and sleeps out the condensation better than Dyneema does. So if you get, if this was made on Dyneema, the tent will be much more exposed to the wind. So you need to be super careful with pitching the tent. And if this was Dyneema, this will be full of condensation, even here in April. So ventilation is super important to for this even this tent as well. Alright, that should be it for the Vern 2. I will not take the upper parts though. I think it will be good with the inner parts. And now I'm gonna do the polycotton version as well, actually. Polycotton is the most interesting though one, but you can immediately feel that the sun, the climate in this tent is much better. It's much colder. It retains the sun away, so it gets a very cooling feeling. So I really like polycotton. It's 36% cotton and the rest is polyester. The only thing I'm not sure about yet is how good it can withstand the rain though. But I really like cotton material. Very cozy, very nice. It's hard to choose between the three actually. Well, the seal nylon version 2 of the Vern, this one, the Vern polycotton, and the Vern lightweight, or whatever you want to call it, that is in front of me there. It's hard to choose which of those three is better and be my go-to tent. I need to think about it. What I can tell though is that silicone seam sealing this tent here seems to be a bit harder to do actually, because of the cotton kind of drying out or extracting the silicone of it. So you need to be a bit more attention to it and apply a bit more. So I'm thinking what you can do though to waterproof this tent even more is either wax it or use a spray for textile. So I do have a waxing, but it's not enough though. So there's supposed to be some kind of a poly cotton spray for this. So I think I'm just gonna leave it like that, but I will probably use the spray, but I need to get it though, because I don't think this is enough to take on the whole. Let's see how this looks though. Yeah, this will not be enough though. This will be a good material to actually waterproof the tents though. But sadly I don't have enough, so I need to get a spray for this. Alright guys, so I hope you learned something from this video. I'm not sure if I have answered everything though, but well, I hope it was something, some ways learning for you. Bye.